Hello everyone, good morning. Welcome to our Japan webinar. My name is Mai and I'm the representative of Easia Travel for the German-speaking market. I brought you my colleague Emma.
Hi, everyone.
Here you go, Emma. Introduce yourself.
Yeah, of course. Hi, everyone. I'm really happy to make this webinar and to introduce some more experience for Japan destination. We all know that Japan destination is very popular at the moment, and a lot of clients are asking for the same products, same itineraries. So I'm happy to introduce some new things to offer to our clients. Just some information about me. I'm the sales director for Japan destination at Easia. I'm traveling to Japan very often as I have some family connection there, and I'm a very huge fan of the destination, and I will be happy to answer your question at the end of the presentation.
Perfect. Just to jump in, this session will be recorded. So if you registered, I will send you the link after webinar. The presentation will also be handed to you. I'll try to get it by the end of the week or the early next week. Okay, so put all your questions into the chat. We will go through it by the end of the webinar. So the spotlight is back to you, Emma.
Okay, so let's start. So this webinar will be organized in two parts. The first part will be to introduce and to have some more focus on the Golden Route and some experiences that we can offer. And the second part will be focused on Kyushu Island, which is not the most sailed but very interesting island. So let's go. So I think that you all know very well the Golden Route, as it's the itinerary that the clients are asking the most. Just to have some information about the Golden Routes, it's between Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka. We can include the Mount Fuji, which is the Hakone part, and sometime for clients we can add some extension to the Japanese Alps, which are Matsumoto, Takayama, Kanazawa, and also we can have some extension to Hiroshima, Miyajima. They are here. So why Golden Route is the most sell and the best seller of Japan? Firstly, it's because it's very easy for clients. As you all know, Japan is an expensive destination, and some clients, they have some guided day in the most important cities like Tokyo, like Mount Fuji, like Kyoto, sometime in Hiroshima, but still without any guide. Golden Route is very easy to make, and also it's very useful to discover the main highlight of Japan. They start with Tokyo, the capital, with all the building, the light, the noise, the dynamic city. Then they go to Mount Fuji, which we all know that it's the most important mountain of Japan. Then they go to Kyoto, which was the former capital of the country, and they can go to Nara on a day trip, and they will finish in Osaka. And also it's easy to add the extension in the Japanese Alps or to add an extension in Hiroshima part from the Golden Route. That's why it's the most sales, and also because it's easy to find some very pleasant activity for clients, like a tea ceremony, like a sumo show or sumo demonstration. We can also have some cooking class. It can be sushi, it can be ramen, and clients, they can have all this offer during the Golden Route itinerary. And last thing, but very important, what we like about the Golden Route itinerary is that the journey, they can take the Shinkansen. They can take also special train like the Romanska, which is an express train, and the time that they spend on transportation is quite short. That's why Golden Route is very suitable for all type of clients because they will not waste a lot of time during the journey, the transportation. But we now that Japan is quite popular, we can make some fun, or we can add some other highlight to the Golden Route, and that's what I will show you today. So, for example, when we receive a request from client, from agency or tour operator, we also have very frequently have the request to go to Kamakura. For those who know Kamakura, it's very convenient day trip from Tokyo because it's almost 1 hour per way. We can see the Mount Fuji. It's a beach area, so it's very pleasant. We also can visit some shrines, some temples. Kamakura offer also very good food, but as you might imagine, it's quite touristic, and also it's very easy and quite if you don't like the shrine, if you don't like the temples, Kamakura can be a little bit boring. So instead of Kamakura, we try to push more Mount Takao as a day trip from Tokyo. Why Mount Takao? First, because on clear day you can see Mount Fuji. I put some picture during the sunset and during the day when you can see the Mount Fuji. What is very nice about Mount Takao, it's very convenient for the clients who wants to make some trail or some hike, but easy one from Tokyo. Because I often heard from clients that, listen, this is a family and the children, they really want to go to Tokyo and spend some time in Tokyo, but the father or the mother or the parents, they are not very excited about it because they prefer the nature. Then they don't like big cities and they are afraid that it will be too much. So Mount Takao can be a very good option for those family who also wants to make a little bit of sport during their trip, and it's a very good area, and also it's a good area known by Japanese people but not known for foreigners. Of course, we can have Europeans or a US client who go there into Mount Takao, but mostly it will be Japanese people who go there. And also what is very nice about Mount Takao is that there are 6 different trails to go up to the mount. So some people of the family, they can make the trail the trail 6, which is the most complicated one, but the children with the mom or with the father, they can go on trail 1 or 2, who are the most easiest. And also for those who don't want to climb, they can use the cable car and the chairlift. There are some options like that. And also on the Mount Takao, there are shrine and temple that the client can visit. And now I just want to be careful because there are a lot of bears in Mount Takao, but they are used to that, and it's like you don't have to piss them off, but you can see bears. So Mount Takao can be a very good extension from Tokyo. One day you can go half day. You don't need to spend the whole day there, but it could be a very good way to discover the surrounding of Tokyo in another way. Also, I used to recommend a lot Mount Takao for the client who are traveling for business. So they need to stay in Tokyo, and sometimes they ask you to extend the travel some days. So basically they will ask for Mount Fuji, but they want to stay close to Tokyo because they don't have a lot of time. So Mount Takao can be a very good option for them. And
Emma,
yeah.
You mentioned bears. Is it
Yeah.
possible to go with? Do you need a guide for this one, or is it possible to
No, it's
go
totally
by
fine.
ourselves?
No,
Okay,
it's totally fine to go by yourself because, as I mentioned, it's very popular for Japanese people. So you will not be on your own. And also, Mount Takao is quite touristic for the Japanese. So there is a lot of explanation. It's very easy
perfect.
to go there without guide. There is a lot of indication, of course, English indication. You don't have to speak Japanese. And there are restaurants, and you will find all the commodity that you need. And I
Perfect, thank
don't
you.
recommend to go with guide. It's possible. I mean, if you have some client who are asking to go with guide, it's absolutely possible. But as it's a nature, it's a hike, it's a trail, I think you enjoy most. You make the most of it without guide because you can take your time. You don't have to rush. You can enjoy every step. But of course, if you have some clients who require a guide to go to Mount Takao, it's absolutely possible. Then we also recommend Kawagoe. I think Kawagoe, it's more popular for the itinerary. What is very good about Kawagoe, it's very close to Tokyo. So you often heard about the Little Edo. you heard Edo when we are talking about Kanazawa, sometimes when we are talking about Takayama. Edo, it was the name of Tokyo a long time ago. So when we refer to the Edo period or a city like Edo, they represent the way Tokyo was made some many years ago. So what is very good about Kawagoe? It's because you have the wooden house. Like I put a photo of a Starbucks, and you see it's Starbucks was built inside a typical house in Kawagoe. And also Kawagoe, it's very popular for Japanese people, not for foreigners. So all the Japanese people, they go there on a weekend and they enjoy the market, they enjoy the city, they enjoy the street. So what is good about Kawagoe is that all the shop and all the things that you can see, they are really made for Japanese people, not for tourists. So you can eat in very traditional restaurant, you can go on a shrine, you can celebrate, you can visit very authentic place. And it's very convenient for the client, again, who wants to stay close to Tokyo, who don't want to go very far, but they want to see a most authentic part of Japan, and they want to hurry a little bit of the city because of the noise, of all the energy that Tokyo have. So Kawagoe can be a very good option and easily accessible from Ekibukuro or Shinjuku Station. So we really recommend Kawagoe for the clients who wants to have an immersive impression of Japan.
Yeah, it's also like for clients who can't go to to Kyoto actually, because
Exactly.
I've been there actually last week. That's why I know Kawagoe very good. You have to mention that the old district actually of Kawagoe, it's a little walk from the main station actually. You walk about, let's say, 15 minutes straight from the train station, then you can go directly to the Machiya district, which is really, really nice. It's so beautiful. And Emma's really right. You see a lot of locals there. You don't see a lot of Western tourists, actually. It's very similar to Kyoto and the Starbucks there. It's a really nice one. You got a garden in the back. It's a bit busy, but you get a lot of souvenirs and a lot of things you don't usually get for a decent price, actually. It's not the prices you pay actually in Tokyo, but it's just to let you know, it's a bit cheaper out there in Kawagoe.
Yeah. And then the last one from Tokyo will be Shishibu. It's a little bit more far than Kawagoe and Montakao, but Shishibu during Sakura season, I think it's one of the most beautiful place of Japan, and it's very typical place for Japanese. What is very good about Shishibu, it's a national park, so you can go there and you can enjoy the Sakura season, you can enjoy the flowers, you can enjoy the mountain, you can have a lot of very typical experiences, like you can go on a boat on the Nagatoro River. You can also, of course, visit some shrine and temples, but we understand that some clients, they are bored with all these cultural aspects. They don't want to visit that much cultural or spiritual place. They just want to enjoy the nature. And what is very good about Chichibu, and I think you never heard about Shishibu Park, but it's very, very beautiful. And I put a picture of the flowers that you can see. It's the Itsushiyawa Park. And during Sakura, but also in May, because you have a lot of different flowers that can bloom in Chichibu, it's very beautiful. So when you have clients also who want to see the sakura and want to go during this period, this very high peak season, but they're afraid to see too much people in some spot, you can definitely offer a day trip in Shishibu to them to make the most and the most beautiful picture. It's I say 1 hour and a half, maybe a little bit less than 2 hours per way to go there by train. I know it's a little bit long, but it's not necessary to stay in Chichibu because it's a very small city. But in one day, they can go to the park, they can go to the city, they can make some shopping, but very traditional thing, of course. They can have a ride boat in the river, and it's a very pleasant day, very, very calm, very relaxing, and for sure they will have the most beautiful picture of the sakura. Another day trip that is not common to offer, but I personally really like it, it's Yoshino. First of all, you have to know that Yoshino is a UNESCO site because of the cultural aspect of the city, and it's a day trip that I really like to offer from Osaka. It's also possible to offer it from Kyoto, but I really push for Yoshino sometime instead of Nara. Nara, it's very popular day trip from Kyoto or Osaka. It's very popular for the deer. Of course, it's very popular for the shrine and temples that you can see because Nara was the former capital of Japan. But what is very good about Yoshino is that you can find some very good shrine, very good temples. And also for Sakura season, it's one of the most beautiful place of Japan. And the highlight, let's say that, for Yoshino is that they are very fancy train. They are not expensive, but they are fancy, like the Blue Symphony train. And it can definitely change the experience for the clients because they will take this train, this magnificent train that is kind of old. It's not, of course, like the Orient Express, but the train is quite beautiful. It's quite short from Osaka. It's a little bit more than 1 hour, and they can make the most of the sakura, they can make the most of the shrine, the temple, they can walk, they can make some little hike. It's not mandatory to make the hike or trail, they can just go walking around the city, and it's very beautiful, and it's less, of course, less crowded than Nara. And I understand, and I feel it that some clients, they don't want to go to Nara because of the pressure of the deer. They are not huge fan of this aspect. So Mount Yoshino can be a very good alternative for Nara as a day trip from Kyoto or Osaka. We can also offer a day trip in Montier. As you might understand, at this presentation, I focus on the off-beaten tracks, so it requires a little bit of walk, of hike, of some active clients, but it's not mandatory to be very active because there are always cable car, ropeway, and you can just enjoy the place without making a very difficult walk. So this one, Montier, I think, I don't know if some of you know the Montier. It's very close to Biwa Lake. Biwa Lake is one of the bigger lake that they have in Japan. Is located around Kyoto. It's 15 kilometers far from Kyoto, and it's very good to offer Biwa Lake and Montier during summer. Because as you all know, maybe, I hope that you know that Japan is very hot during June, July, August, and sometimes September. And not all the clients have the budget or want to go to Okinawa. So we are often looking for some place when they can have a swim, they can have some more a temperature more comfortable for them. So the Biwa Lake, it's one of the best place to go during summer because there are a lot of things to do, a lot of things to see, and so they can start the day trip to Montier. They can take, like you saw, the cable car, and then they can go to the Ryukajaki Temple, which is also a UNESCO site. So UNESCO site, I understand, maybe I'm wrong, but for German customer, the UNESCO site are very important. We tend to always offer the same UNESCO site, which are Nikko, Imeji, but just for let you know that there are a lot of UNESCO site in Japan, and sometimes we can offer some different things to the client instead of always putting Nara, Imeji, and Nikko. So Montier, it's very beautiful. You have gardens, you have the temple, you have all the forest hiking trails that are not very complicated to do. Still as Mount Takao, be careful with the bears. No guide needed, also because it's quite touristic for Japanese people, not for foreigners, but for Japanese people. You have all the indication, and the path is quite easy to follow. But yeah, you have to keep in mind that Japan has more and more bears that all come closer to the touristic sites. Also, during this presentation, I want to introduce you some activities that we can offer to the clients. I realize that a lot of clients, they resume Japan to tea ceremony, sumo experiences, or sushi class. But Japan culture is way more bigger than that. And we can offer also some other activity to the client to enjoy this fabulous culture. So for children, I know that the Team Lab or the Disney or the Universal Studio Park is often the most the most wanted. But just to let you know that we also can offer some samurai museum experiences. There is a museum in Tokyo, there is another museum in Kyoto, and they are very immersive museum because I understand also that some clients, they say, I don't like museum, I don't want to go to a museum, but just to let you know that in Japan, in most of the time, the museum are very fun and they are very immersive. You can touch, you can try the weapons, you can put the armor, and let's say that I think that the parents they enjoy it as much as the children. So you can test the sword, you can make some picture. They have English guide or very passionate about it. So instead of always offering the Team Lab entrance ticket, you can switch to the Samurai Museum experience. The cost is approximately the same and their experience is very memorable. And for the clients who wants to have a more specific experience with the samurai, with the kendo, for example, we have judo, we have aikido, but we also have the kendo. We can organize a session, an initiation. It can be in Tokyo, it can be in Kyoto, and they will practice with an instructor who will teach them the rules and the way to practice the kendo martial art. So it can be a very good experiences. I understand that it can be only for active clients, but I think that we have more and more clients who really want to enjoy the culture and want to go deeper. So the kendo training can be a very good option. Also for the children, because I think, and children, but also young adults. I think that in Japan we are all going back to our childhood, so that's what is very good about Japan. We can have a private class with a manga artist in Tokyo. So I see also in a lot of requests that you mentioned that the clients, because they are traveling with their children, they want to have a manga experiences, but it's kind of hard sometimes to define the manga activity because manga are part of Japan culture, of course, but you can go to a library, you can go to a shop and have some to buy some article related to manga things, but it's sometimes hard to really experience the manga in Japan. So this activity with in Tokyo is very good because the clients, they will have a private session with an instructor who will teach them how to design a manga. So it's took place in Nakano, in the district of Nakano, so very close to central Tokyo. And it's a very good way for children, young adults, and also adults to discover the manga in another way. Also, like I mentioned before, we tend to offer the Team Lab activity, the Disneyland, the Universal Studio. But just to let you know that in Tokyo, they also have a studio, Warner Bros. Studio, the making of Harry Potter. They have the same in London. It's basically the same, and it's absolutely a must do. I tried it in last December. I'm a fan of Harry Potter, but not the biggest fan, of course. I went with a teenager who was not a big fan, and I can say that we have best time together because when Japanese people are doing a museum like this, they are very doing it in the best way possible. So even if you are not a big fan of Harry Potter, you will enjoy it. You will enjoy the visit. The cost is cheaper than the studio that they have created in London, but their experience is the same. So just to think a bit of it, it's not something that you absolutely need to include for your client, for families, but if you are looking for a good activity, a fun activity in Tokyo with a good, an affordable price, please think about the visit of the studio Harry Potter. Finally, about the gastronomy, because we all know that Japan is a very good destination for those who love to eat and those who love to try new food. In Japan, we tend to offer a basic ceremony, tea ceremony, and also sushi class. But just to let you know that we have also good alternative, which can be the visit of a tea farm near Kyoto, for example. We have a very good relationship, and we have a good supplier who is called Ububu Tea Farms in Kyoto, and they are the visit consists in visiting the fields, also to taste some different kind of tea, and the lunch is included, so it can be also a good getaway from Kyoto and a good way to try the matcha, because we all know that matcha is very popular right now in Europe, so it can be a good way to have a different experiences with tea in Japan. And also, I just want to show you the mochi class. Mochi, for those who don't know, it's a kind of pastry that is made with sticky rice. And I think it's a very good activity to change a little bit from the classic, from the sushi, ramen, or bento. Mochi is more physical because you have to tap with the hammer on the sticky rice, but it's very fun activity. And also, as it's related with rice, you can have explanation about the rice culture in Japan and things like that. So for family, adults, or solo travelers, it can be very fun to make their own mochi. So for the golden route, these are all the experiences that we can offer instead of the classic one. We have more activity and we have more day trip to offer. I try to concentrate and to introduce you the most popular that we can offer. But of course, if you want something else, if you want activity in Kanazawa, if you want day trip in Kanazawa, Takayama, we can also be creative with that. So now I will go to Kyushu, Kyushu Island. I think some of you don't know Kyushu yet, but I'm sure that you will fall in love with this island, which I particularly like because it's the island with a lot of volcanoes. So it's very good for people who like the nature. So now come with me to Kyushu. So Kyushu is the third largest island on the four main. Just to recap, we have Hokkaido at the north, we have Honshu, where all Tokyo, Kyoto, Osaka, Hiroshima located. We have Kyushu, the third one, and then we have Shikoku, who is the smallest. Then we have a lot more island, of course, because Japan is an archipelago, but the four main islands are typically Hokkaido, Honshu, Kyushu, and Shikoku. So Kyushu is at the southwestern part of the country. It's close to Korea. If you look at the map more closely, it's very close to Korea. It's located also quite close, not that close, but quite close to Taiwan. So it is believed that the rice culture in Japan starts in Kyushu because of the proximity of the Korean peninsula, and that the rice come from Korea to Japan in Kyushu. So Kyushu, it's divided in different prefecture. We have the Fukuoka one, the Nagasaki one, Saga, Oita, Kumamoto, Miyazaki, Kagoshima, and we also have the Yakushima Island, which is part of Kyushu Island. Kyushu, it's not for every client. It's important to highlight that because I don't want you to offer Kyushu like a new destination. Kyushu, of course, it's a destination who combine nature, history, wellness, authenticity, and of course, fewer crowds than Honshu. Because not every client wants to go into the nature. They basically often don't have a lot of time and they prefer to focus on the main highlights. So Kyushu is not a mass tourist destination, even for Japanese people. I think Okinawa and Hokkaido are the island that the Japanese preferred, but we can also find Japanese tourists in Kyushu, of course. So who to offer Kyushu? repeat visitor to Japan looking to experience beyond the Golden Route. I think May went to Kyushu in last October, and it was her third trip to Japan, so it was very convenient for her. Also, Kyushu is very good for nature and outdoor enthusiasts, especially the volcano fan or the travelers who want to have a scenic drive or wants to hike. Also, Kyushu is very famous for the onsen and wellness because there are a lot of onsen, natural onsen in Kyushu Island. So that's very good for people who wants to relax and have a very authentic experiences. Also, Kyushu is very good for cultural explorer because there are some specificity in Kyushu Island. If you saw the picture, I put a picture of a church because in Kyushu we have a lot of what we call the hidden Christian because in Japan they were not well seen, so they hide, but they built some church at some point, and the church are still existing. So you can have a very historical getaway in Kyushu. Kyushu, of course, and not least, but very important to mention that Kyushu is very important for the gastronomy because they are very famous ramen, Akata ramen, in Kyushu. But not only that, you also have very good beef. Kobe beef, I think, is the most popular in Europe. But just to explain to you that in Kyushu, you have the same quality of beef coming from Saga or other part of Kyushu. You also have very good seafood, so Kyushu is definitely a very gastronomic island. And of course, Kyushu, like I explained before, it's not suitable for first-time visitors with very limited time because Kyushu require some time to explore and some time to go from one city to another. Of course, it's not suitable for clients who are looking for luxury shopping or just to see the most important site of Japan. And also, very important to mention that Kyushu is not for travelers, customer who want a very high level of support because there are very few guides available in Kyushu. We can have English speaking guide in the most important city like Fukuoka, Kumamoto, Kagoshima. But Kyushu is mainly a destination that you enjoy on yourself and you take time to discover small villages, to go to the onsen, to enjoy the scenic view. It's not really a destination that it's cultural, even though, like I mentioned, there are cultural sites, but it's mainly a landscape, and that's why we recommend it for clients who really wants to be autonomous on the destination. I put some picture of the food. So like I say, Kyushu is very good for the gastronomy. I'm sorry that my picture are not reflecting how good the food is in Kyushu, but just to mention that there are a lot of specificities, and the clients, they will be very happy if they like food and they want to try Japanese food. They will be very happy. And as you remark, they are not picture of fish because usually we expect Japan food to be with fish and sushi, but in Kyushu it will be basically more beef and pork than fish. But of course, we can also have very good sushi and very good meal with fish in Kyushu, but also a lot of meal.
And the food is really good in Kyushu. I've been there and I've been a lot of times to Japan, but the ramen in Fukuoka and the pork, the black pork, which is actually from, I don't know how you call it, it's an Iberian one actually from New Berkshire from England. It's really, really, really outstanding in Japan. And if you go to Kyushu, you should try the food there because it's outstanding in Japan.
Yeah. Now I just want to explain to you a little bit how to get to Kyushu. So Kyushu, it's easily accessible from the main island. It could be by air or it could be by train. So basically in Fukuoka, which is the most important city of Kyushu, you have an airport, international airport. So you can have flight from Tokyo, Sapporo, Naha, but also from Seoul, from Hanoi, from Taipei, from China, from a lot of part of Asia, so it's very easy to reach Kyushu. But there are also some other airports in Kyushu Island, which are Kagoshima, Nagasaki, Kumamoto, Oita, Miyazaki, and Yakushima, the island of Yakushima. So there are a lot of flights who are arriving in Kyushu Island, so it's very easy to organize a trip there. And just to let you know that Fukuoka Airport is located in the city center, very close to the city center. So it takes 6 minutes to go from Fukuoka Airport to the train station, the most important train station, which is called Akata Station. Akata is a district in Fukuoka. Before Fukuoka was called Akata, that's why the station is called Akata. And it's only 6 minutes direct train from Fukuoka Airport to Akata Station, and Akata Station is located in the center of the city. So it's very convenient for clients, and the train, the ticket for the train, it's very, very affordable. That's why we push the clients to take the train from Fukuoka Airport to Akata Station, and then in Akata Station, they can walk to their hotel, or they can take a taxi, or we can organize a transfer, but I think it's not really needed. The best way is to take the train. And also, for example, if you have some client who are arriving with a flight in the early morning, they can go to Akata Station, and from Akata Station, they can take the Shinkansen to reach some other destination in Kyushu Island, like Kumamoto. So it's very easy to get around Kyushu Island and to in Kyushu Island. And also, they can arrive by train. They can take the Sanyo Kyushu Shinkansen. They can arrive from Osaka, they can arrive there from Kyoto, and they can also arrive from Hiroshima. And I put the timing, so it's only 1 hour from Hiroshima to Fukuoka. It's a little bit less than 3 hours from Kyoto to Fukuoka, and it's 2 hours and a half from Osaka to Fukuoka. So it's not long journey, and the Hiroshima Fukuoka is direct. Also Osaka Fukuoka, no change, direct train, direct Shinkansen, and same Kyoto to Fukuoka. So it's very, very easy to reach Kyushu Island.
Emma, would you say
Yeah.
for round trip, actually, there are like, I think, 1 or 2 airlines like Ava Air and
Yeah,
China Airlines who fly
absolutely.
via Taipei directly to
Yeah.
Kyushu. So basically, like the normal airlines like ANA fly into Tokyo, and then you can change at Haneda or Narita directly and go down, and the flight is about 2.5 hours, 3 hours maybe via Tokyo, or you can fly directly or change at Taipei, which I did last time. So perfectly fine to start your trip actually in Kyushu and then continue your way back and fly out to Tokyo, or go into Tokyo, do 1 or 2 days Tokyo, fly to Kyushu and come back to Tokyo. So we got a lot of flights and a lot of good connections to go to Kyushu.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, Kyushu is very good for travelers who wants to test and want to try very specific train. The particularity of Kyushu, and they make the train quite fun. I just will spread some name, but you can look if you have time, and if you like the train, you can look at the Asoboy. They also have the One Piece train. They have the Pokemon Executor, the Sunny train. So I don't know how it's or how the train in Germany, but in France, for example, we don't have train like very thematic train. In Kyushu, they have a lot of thematic train, and also inside of the train, they have special compartment for kids. So they basically, for example, in the Asoboy, they have a playground inside the train for kids. So it's very, very good. And of course, as you all know, train in Japan, they are very punctual, never late, always going on time, and they are clean, they are very easy to take. And what is the most important thing to highlight is that those specific train that I mentioned, they are quite cheap. So beautiful train and very good price. So in Kyushu, you have basically 2 Shinkansen lines. You have the most important one, which is from from Fukuoka, to Kagoshima, so from the north to the south. And you have a new one, which is the Nishi Kyushu from Take Onsen to Nagasaki, so it's very easy to get around Kyushu by train. And we really talk about this possibility to discover Kyushu by train because you can enjoy the beautiful landscape in a very comfortable way. So Kyushu is very good for train lovers. I just briefly, I will share this presentation with you just to you to have an idea, but I create an itinerary to the must-see attraction in Kyushu by train. It's 11 days trip, but we can add some day or we can make it shorter, of course. So the client will start to Fukuoka, then they will go to Nagasaki, they will go to Gonkajima Island for those who have seen Spectre, the James Bond movie. And if you remember, they are at some time of the movie, they are in a lost island, this island is Gonkajima. So the clients they can make a day trip or a half day trip to this island and take some very iconic picture. Then they can go to Kumamoto. From Kumamoto, they can go to the most important volcano, one of the most important volcano of the island, which is the Mount Aso. Then they can go to Kagoshima. Kagoshima is at the south, and they can also have beautiful experiences with volcano. And then they can go back to the north and have a really relaxed time in Beppu. Beppu is very known, very famous for all the onsen that they have. I think it's one of the best places in Japan to have an onsen experiences. And then they can go back to Fukuoka. Beppu, Fukuoka, they are very close one to another. And from Fukuoka, they can decide to take the flight and go back to Germany, or they can also decide to take a flight or a train and go to Kyoto or Tokyo. So this is just an example. We can tailor-made it, but by train, it's absolutely possible to follow this itinerary. So I put some example of the visit that they can have day by day. I will not go in the detail, but I will share it to you. But I really want to highlight the fact that with this itinerary that they can make by train, they can have complete different type of visits each day. They can have a day in a very specific shrine. They can have a day in a very specific garden. They can have a day in this island, which is, I think, very iconic. They can have a day in a castle, feudal castle. They can have a day in a volcano. They can have a day in some other place, a very beautiful place. Of course, volcano will be the thematic for Kyushu, but very different volcano. For example, the Mount Aso is a caldera. The Sakurajima, it's a very big volcano with a lot of activity, and they can have, of course, the onsen experience, which I think everyone like. So I just put some picture of what they can see. So volcano, active volcano, beautiful shrine, and very typical shrine. And what is important to highlight is that in Japan, every shrine, you don't have to visit every one because it's a lot, but every shrine has a very specific tradition. And when you go to Kyushu, you can have a shrine, for example, for good health. You can have a shrine, you can visit a shrine, and you can buy something to have a good grade for your kids at school. So it's very good. It's very different from Honshu Island. You can have this beautiful castle, which is one of the most beautiful castle in Japan, and you can visit this island, which I think is very not beautiful, let's say, because it's ruins, but it's quite different from what you can expect to see in Japan. I also create this example for self-drive, so rental car, because it's absolutely possible to rent a car in Japan. Same, you will start in Fukuoka, then you will go to Kumamoto, Aso, Kurokawa Onsen, Takashio, and then the Kirishima Park, which are national park, when you can have a very lovely time if you are passionate about hike, mountain, and things like that. And you can finish in Kagoshima. So again, I put some example of what you can see in each day during this itinerary. I will, like I said, share it to you. But again, what is very important to highlight is that Kyushu, even though it's a small island, it's not big as Honshu, and it's more natural. You can see very different things during your itinerary there. So again, I took some picture. This one is the Tashiro Gorge. Here is the Kirishima Kinkawan National Park, and here is the onsen, Kurokawa Onsen. So for clients who wants to take the time, who wants to discover a very traditional side of Japan, I really encourage you to offer some Kyushu itineraries. And here, may I let you comment because it's your photo.
Yeah, like Emma mentioned before, I was there actually last November until December. I've been there 14 days in Kyushu in Tokyo. So you see really realistic pictures of my last trip. Here you can see like the Nanzen Temple. It's one of the biggest lying temple in Japan, which is really nice. I've been there, and there you can see basically nobody was there. I was like peak autumn season when I was there, and I had like maybe 50 people there, and I was there like at 10 a.m. in the morning. And also on the right side, you can see Sakura Futamigaru, which is a very famous, it's very close to Fukuoka. And it's very, very romantic actually, because you see the two cobblestones in the back, and it's in a very nice beach. You know, you can walk around there. There are a lot of surfer stops and little cafes, and you can get there by a bus, which I did, or you can like take a cab, which is 30 minutes. And it's basically out of Fukuoka. You don't, it's like only 30 minutes away, and you can do it by yourself. It's very easy actually. Yeah, you can go to the next slide, Emma. Thanks. This was Mount Aso. Okay, the one on the left side is like Kuroseki. We call it like the baby volcano. It's really, really cute and very small, you know. And I recommend to go there when it's like sunset time. We've been there like about 4:30, 5 p.m. maybe for the highlight of the day. I did a day tour there actually with a small group, and it was so nice. You know, you get a massive area, you get all the volcanoes, and it's not like a very exhausting because I'm not the most sportive person actually, I have to tell you, but you can hike there easily. You have to I have to let you know that it's very chilly up there actually. I think the temperature dropped down to 0 from 10 to 0, so you have to layer up in autumn season actually, and you have some clothes, some hat like I did, but it's really nice. And up there you see the Nakadake crater, and there's a little blue lake, a sulfur lake in there, and you see all the smoke coming up. But you have to know that it's a very active volcano, and it could be close when you go there. You know, you have to be very flexible there. You can drive up there, but can be it can be a little bit dangerous for the people who have asthma, you know, just to let you know that it's still a volcano, but it's so awesome to see. You've been there, you feel so free, and it's very for nature lovers. And yeah. Okay, next slide, please, Emma. Yeah, then I went to the Takashio Gorge, which was one of my highlights. You can see the autumn color change, which was very, very, very nice and unique for Japan. And there you can rent some rental boats. You have to know that rental boats are very sparse, and you can only reserve them 14 days in advance. And it's a very, very small stretch. You know, you got like 30 minutes and you can go up and down. And it's nice. And I was lucky. I found some people who row it for me because I'm not the best rower actually. But if you have a chance to go down to Takashio Gorge, you should do it. And it's best with the rental car or with a small group from Fukuoka because it's so nice. Next slide, please. Oh yeah, and then we come, I think it's my last slide. I also did a tour from Nagasaki to Shimabara. Shimabara belongs to the Nagasaki prefecture. It's about, I think it was 1 hour away from Nagasaki on a very small, cute train, and you pass down the coast. You know, it's like in all the movies you see the coast on the one side, you see the mountains, and on the other side, it's very, very scenic, you know. And Shimabara is actually famous for its kois. The nishikoi is actually living in the street canals. So everywhere you go, it's left and right. You got all the small, very clean water. You get a park here, and then you get a house here, and then you get a street here, and then you get like a big kois there. You know, it's like basically everywhere you go, there's a pond, and it's really, really, really nice. You know, you go there, you have a tea, you relax there, and yeah, Kyushu has been one of the best trips I have ever done. And I just came back last week from Hokkaido to see the north I honestly have to tell you, I really fell in love with Kyushu, and I totally understand Emma, who has a passion for volcanoes, that Kyushu is one of the highlights. Everyone who has went to Japan should see in the second trip, or even for the first trip. If you got some clients who don't want to do the golden route, who want to do something totally different, I highly suggest to do Shimabara.
Yeah. And that's it for the presentation. So I hope that you enjoy it, and I will check the chat for question if you have any question.
Yeah, so we've got one question, Emma, from
Yeah.
Zanash. Let me read it out to you. So, dear Emma, dear Maya, thank you for the detailed information. We are planning to put Japan in our portfolio, but we have heard that it's hard to get German-speaking guides for groups. How are your experiences with that?
Yeah, the guide in Japan, every language are quite difficult to secure because there are not a lot of guide in Japan, especially the German ones. So for groups, we have to book them as much a long time in advance. I will always recommend like more than 1 year in advance. It really depends on the season. For example, if you have a group who wants to go to Japan in a low season, it can be June, it can be end of November, it can be early March, February. We can find some German-speaking guide quite easily. let's stay prudent, but quite easily. But for example, if you plan to organize a trip during Sakura season, end of March, beginning of April, and during Momiji, which is the autumn with the foliage, like October and November, you have to plan it a long time in advance.
Thank you. So the second question is, what season of the year do you recommend for group travel?
For group travel, for example, I understand that the Sakura season it's always the most interesting for the client, but personally, I always push for February. Why February? Because you have also other kind of flower in Japan. The weather is very nice. It's the best chance to see the Mount Fuji during February, and also the price and the crowd are less important. And for example, a few years ago, it was not that hard to find some availability and to enjoy Japan during Sakura season. But I have to say that now, with the over tourism that we faced, I have to say that the Sakura season, personally, I do not enjoy it as a solo travelers. So I cannot imagine traveling in a group during Sakura period because too many people and the price are very, very expensive. And I don't think you can really feel the Japan during the Sakura season now. So I really push for February, end of May, and November. The end of November and the beginning of December for me are the most enjoyable season because, for example, in November you can have the foliage, the momiji, like I mentioned. But in December, the very beginning of December, they also start to make some decoration for the celebration of the Christmas. Yes, sorry, Christmas, and it's beautiful for me. Japan in November, it's my favorite season with February because everything is beautiful. The weather is very good. Last time I went in Tokyo, it was the 1st of December. I was in t-shirt, and it was very nice. And everyone is getting ready for the celebration, so there is a special vibe, and Japan is very beautiful during this time. But of course, I clearly understand that it's difficult to avoid the Sakura period or October because a lot of people, they think about October. They are still good season, but it's start to become quite complicated to have a very immersive experiences during those months.
Yeah, I would also say what most people don't know about Sakura is like you can't predict it. You get a forecast when the Sakura will happen. It starts in the south from Kyushu. Actually, it's like early March and then goes up to Hokkaido, Most of the clients will go to Honshu, and then it's going to be about, I think, middle of March or end of March where we will go there. But you can't get a guarantee that the sakura is coming up. It's going to be too cold, it's going to be too hot for the sakura, so you pay more and it's so busy right there, and then you don't get the sakura at all, you know. So if you have some clients actually and still want to see the sakura, I could also suggest to go actually north to Hokkaido, which I did because I went there last month, end of April, to Hokkaido, and we were so lucky to see the sakura in Hokkaido, which is so nice. But still, you know, you have to be very lucky. So I also suggest to do the autumn, November, December, because I went the time before. Actually, last year I went in November, end of November until early December, and Emma's so right, you know, the weather is really good. In Kyushu it was warm, in Tokyo it was also like I think 15 degrees, 20 degrees we had early December, and it's not crowded at all, you know. And then in the end of the day, you've got all the illumination in Shinjuku, you know, in Tokyo. You got a Christmas market. I went there to like free Christmas market when I was in Japan. It's kind of funny how they do it because they serve like spaghetti and other things, which we think it's so German, or I don't know. It was kind of weird, but it was lovely with all the illuminations, you know.
Yeah, and yeah, important to highlight that they put illumination in the temple and the shrine. So, for example, in Kanazawa, you can go on the garden. Kanazawa is one of the three top most beautiful garden of Japan, and they put some light during the night, so you can have a very pleasant visit there. So yes, we recommend November, I would say end of November and
December.
February. Yeah.
Monica also asked if Kyushu would be suitable as a beach extension instead of Okinawa. What do you think, Emma?
It could be a big beach, extension, but I want to be careful on that because a very beautiful beach on Kyushu, but it's a wild coast, let's say that. So it's more for surf, and you can have a good beach with and you can go with your children. But Okinawa will be basically a postal card, like you can expect that to have in Seychelles, or you can have in Mauritius Island and things like that. Kyushu, it's more wild. So for those who don't want the touristic side of Okinawa, it's absolutely perfect. But for those who really want beach stay, like we so-called beach stay with all the activity and all the things like that, it's not that suitable. But personally, if I go with my family, I will definitely go to Kyushu beaches because it's less crowded and the water is very nice. Yes. But it's important to highlight to the clients that it's very good destination for beach, but it's more coastal and it's less the infrastructure is less touristic than they can have in Okinawa. But if they are only looking for a beach and just want to have a swim, they're not looking for a very special spot, Kyushu is perfect, yes.
Yeah, that's so true. And we also talked about the rental cars, which in Kyushu, which we I think in the future can also offer from Easia.
Absolutely.
Just to let you know if your clients are interested in rental cars, because surprise, I drove in Hokkaido last time because I really wanted to drive there for the first time. It's not complicated. If you got clients there telling you, okay, can I rent a car because it's on the left side and on the right side, like in Europe, it's totally possible. I'm not the best driver, honestly. I have to tell you, my colleagues can tell you that I'm very bad at parking. But in Japan, it's really easy. You have to know as a German client or from Germany, you don't need the international permit license. You need a Japanese translation. And the Japanese translation can be done in Germany before you arrive. You can do it with like ADAC Bayern in Munich is the only spot where you can like send in your papers. They do it for you like 6 weeks in advance. You could also do it with Easia Travel. We can also translate your permit, driver permit. It's possible. You could also do it on your own via online system, but it's a bit more complicated because you need a Japanese and IP and anything. But the easiest one, if like you really want to drive, you can ask our DMC to translate it for you. And I highly recommend it, you know, for example, like in Kyushu and Hokkaido, off the beaten path, there are some areas which is accessible by car. And it's not complicated at all. Driving in Japan is really like very relaxed, I would say. You need 5 minutes driving there, but then afterwards it's like you drive 1 hour, you don't see anybody. And usually the Japanese drivers are very patient, and they know it's a very funny thing. You got like a license plate in the back of your car, and it says in Japanese language rental car, so the people know that you have a rental car, and that's why they try to be very, very safe. Oh yeah, Regina asked if the road signs are also in English. Yes, the
Yeah.
road signs are in English. Most, yeah, basically, they're in English, right? Yes, they're in English.
Yeah, they are in English. Yes, absolutely. In any case, all the rental car comes with GPS, but the sign are in English. Yes.
Yes, and what I did, I used actually Google Maps for it, which was perfectly fine for Hokkaido. And what you also know, if you consider driving in Japan, that you should get a full coverage insurance. This is what I highly recommend everywhere I'm traveling. And you also get information that if anything happens, even if it's a small scratch actually on the bumper, you have to get a report of the police. So you have to call the police and tell them, I just scratched my car, because they need the report for the insurance. Usually doesn't happen anything, but drive safe. It's very, very relaxing. If something happens, you just drove to the Konban station, a police station, tell them, I hit something, there's a small scratch, they write something in Japanese, and you give it to the rental company, and it's totally fine. And I think, Emma, we have like a lot of good contract with 1 or 2 rental companies, and so we can in the future offer it to you as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, we plan to book with Toyota, which is the most important office for rental car in Japan. And what is important to know is that unless some destination, I think USA and Canada particularly, but Japan, you can only rent a new car. They change the car that they offer to tourists very often, like every 2 years. They change their stock of car. So basically, when you rent a car, the car will be not new but kind of new, so it's very safe services to have, because they are making a really really good check on the car before give it to you.
Yeah, that's true. And I would also say don't drive in the big cities. Like I wouldn't dare to drive like in Tokyo or Kyoto, because of a lot of one-ways actually. And if you're not used to drive on the left side, and get a lot of one-ways, it's might be complicated. But if you like consider doing a day trip to the mountains for hiking, or to the south in Kyushu, it's totally possible and highly recommended.
Yeah.
Any more questions, guys? If they're okay. Thank you, Yvonne. That's so nice of you. Yeah, we're really, really happy to welcome Easia Travel for Japan. It's been one of my biggest dreams actually. We're working very, very, very long time, I have to tell you, to get the team to open Japan, and it's been like 3 months right now, Emma, right? We started in
Yeah.
March
Yeah.
to open Japan as a DMC, and we really happy. We're in a starting point and entering the market, but we got a lot of very loyal clients sending us a request in. And I'm very happy to have Emma and the team here to support us with Japan, because it's it's one of my biggest and favorite countries. I really love Japan. It's like I said before, my 4th time actually to Japan, and I'm planning my next trip actually next year. So basically, Japan is a wonderful country. It's different. If you have clients there going there, you have to know that it's totally different from Southeast Asia. Like in Vietnam, you get a guide, you get a driver, you get everything like served on your plate. This is not in Japan. Japan is totally different. Japan is crazy. Japan is modern. It's like old and new, and it's all about the rules. If you got clients going to Japan, you have to know that they stick to the rules. If you got a reservation at 7, it's going to be 7. If you pick up time, check-in time, it's 3 p.m. It's 3 p.m. and not earlier. I arrived there like 30 minutes before to the hotel, and I said, you can sit down but 30 minutes, I arrived there 5 minutes before. I say, check-in time, it's 5, So if you got clients who want to check in earlier, you have to book a night earlier. Japan is not very flexible, That's the vibe about Japan. You have to be adjust to the rules, and it's different, It's not loud, it's very quiet. But when you get to Japan, you feel very peaceful, because everyone there is very calm. They bow to you, You go there and everybody's so kind to you, respect you. And I bowed like million of times. I went there like arigato gozaimasu, and everybody from like the staff was going there, and it was really, really different, But that's the vibe of Japan. And if you got clients sending them, we have to brief them a lot, like don't talk in the train, don't throw away your trash, don't eat while you walk. I know it's a very huge guideline, but the more the clients know and we assist you with it, if you got questions, let us know. You can call me anytime, you can send Emma an email, and I can guide you through what to do in Japan or what not to do in Japan or what to eat in Japan. But if you prepare yourself for Japan, you go there for the first time, and it's so overwhelming. You go there and you feel like, oh my goodness. But I spoke to a lot of people and I have a lot of friends traveling to Japan actually, and they always come back. They always come back for a second or the third trip. It started with a once in a lifetime trip to Japan, but nobody will say like, okay, I didn't like Japan. They're gonna be like, okay, next trip, I'm gonna go next year to Japan. And I think this time is a really good time to go to Japan, because unfortunately, the yen is not that stable at the moment. But for us European, it's very affordable at the moment. 10 years ago, when I went there for the first time, it was expensive. I was there like 2 weeks and I was like, oh my goodness, it's so expensive for me. But right now, it's affordable, and it's a good time to go to Japan. And consider doing like a different way of approaching the clients to Japan. Send them to the Golden Route if you like to, but consider our tips to do other day tours, because a lot of Golden Routes are comparable, and then the clients will say, yeah, but somebody else cheaper. You go there and say, okay, I show you Japan, but with a different vibe, different activities, and I add this and that to it, And Asia is really good in these things, like the smaller things. Now we pay a lot of attention to the small things, where we say we see a different approach of it, and that's what we're doing in Indochina and Thailand, and that's what we're doing for Japan as well. So feel free anytime to contact us, and we will help you with Japan. And I'm not on holiday this year for Japan anymore. So yeah, drop me an email, call me. I try to assist you. Thank you a lot.
Thanks, everyone, and have a very pleasant day. And happy to hear from you soon.
Bye. Have a nice day.
Bye.